A common question that we'll get here at Dent & Peterson from our business clients is a question about non-competes or non-solicitation or non-disclosure agreements. They're all kind of combined together usually into a document, a common business contract. And for example, a business client will ask, hey, look, we would like to get a non-compete in place for our business to protect our interests of these people that are leaving in our business and going to competitors. Can you help us, put a good non-compete or non-solicitation together? Or they may ask, hey, look, I've got somebody that I want to hire. I'm hiring them over from a competitor. They signed a non-compete with that competitor. Can you take a look at this non-compete and tell me whether or not we can hire this person or not? Or sometimes we'll get an employee, a former employee that will call us and say, look, I'm wanting to leave where I'm at, and I've signed this non-compete a few years ago, but I want to go across the street to this company that I think might be a competitor. Can you look at this and tell me whether or not this is something that I can do? Do I have to wait before I go to this new employee or this new employer? So these non-competes are a very common thing. They're used more and more, as time goes on by various businesses. They are to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Here in Arizona, courts will enforce non-competes. They're contracts that courts like to enforce if it protects a legitimate business interest of the employer, and so long as it is reasonable in scope and duration for that employer. So they need to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis by an attorney that is experienced in knowing the non-competes and the non-solicitation and these non-disclosure agreements to know, the extent of whether or not they will be enforceable in court or not, to advise those clients accordingly. And for example, we recently had a client that called us from California. They wanted to hire an employee at their Arizona office, but they were bringing that employee over from a competitor in Arizona. And that employee had signed a non-compete agreement, and they needed us to review it that day because they were supposed to be hiring that person that day, and it was going to really affect their bottom line whether or not they hired this person. We were able to get the non-compete. We reviewed it through a series of phone calls and discussing the client's situation and the various concerns they had. We were able to give them advice to allow them to hire that employee that day and potentially avoid a potential lawsuit down the road. But it is important that we look at these non-competes very closely to know whether or not, and advise a client whether or not the courts will enforce those non-compete bases. We have lots of experience here at Dent & Peterson in evaluating these non-competes, which are very common these days, and we take a lot of pride in letting our clients know and helping them whether they're enforceable, and helping our clients establish a non-compete that can help them with their business and their bottom line down the road.